We already talked about the different kinds of pronouns and when and where to use them. But today is going to be different. Pronoun and antecedent agreement. That's what we're going to talk about today. Hi there, thank you for checking out my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. If this is the first video that you're watching from my channel, I make educational and motivational content. So if you don't want to miss any of my new uploads, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that bell icon. Now, like I said in the intro kanina, pag-uusapan natin is pronoun and antecedent agreement. May mga ilang cases kasi na medyo tricky ito, kaya hihimahin natin yan today. But before we do that, just a quick little plug. If you're interested to help support this channel and our cause to democratize education in the Philippines, you can do that by buying our merch sa shop.teamlyqa.com. That is where I put up all of the mugs, the shirts, the hoodies that I designed for this team. And as another option, if you don't want to do that, or if you want to help out more, you can also use yung ating channel membership. And for more information about that, there will be a link to the video explaining that right here sa I button if you're watching this on YouTube, okay? And now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to switch over to my PC. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I posted this question a few days ago and marami pa rin ang nagkamali. And okay lang yun kasi hindi pa natin napag-uusapan yung topic natin today. Now again, ang pag-uusapan natin ay pronoun agreement or specifically yung pronoun antecedent agreement. Pero before we do that, mag-review muna tayo. Ano ba yung pronoun? Ang pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. So, ibig sabihin, kung meron tayong statement like, John is here, kung gusto nating palitan yung John, pwede natin siyang gawing he. He kasi is a masculine pronoun. Okay? At dahil lalaki si John, we use he. Now, in earlier videos, napag-usapan na natin yung iba-ibang point of view, pati na rin yung mga pronouns sa first person point of view, sa second person point of view, at third person point of view. Pinag-usapan din natin kung ano yung difference ng singular at plural, at pati ng mga cases, kung siya ay subjective, objective, o possessive. Now, for a full discussion nito, ililink ko na lang din dito sa taas yung series at sa description box if you're watching this on YouTube. Pero ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon is yung pronoun antecedent agreement. Now, ano ba muna yung antecedent? Kung ito yung sample natin kanina, nasaan dyan yon? Ang antecedent is what came before the pronoun. Or sa Filipino, kung ano yung pinatutungkulan or pinalitan ng pronoun. So, kung yung he is our pronoun, ang antecedent niya would be si John, who is yung pinatutungkulan ng pronoun na yon. Na kung sinabi natin na John is here, tapos he is, kunyari, a doctor, we will use he kasi si John ang pinatutungkulan niya. Now, this is quite straightforward sa mga simpleng cases. All you have to ask is, are you using the right pronoun? Now, again, madali lang siya kung maayos at malinaw kung sino ang pronoun doon sa sentence. Lalo na kung simple sentences ang pinag-uusapan natin. Ang gagawin mo lang is look at, again, yung flowchart natin. Now, if you're not familiar with this, ginawa ko lang, pinagdugtong ko yung tatlong flowchart na ginawa natin sa mga previous video sa series na ito. Pero kahit na hindi mo ito natatandaan in its entirety, if you already answered a couple of questions following itong flowchart na ito, you probably already are familiar with it. Kung gusto ninyong balikan, pwede ninyong balikan muna yon, okay? Pero kung isi-simplify natin itong lahat ng ito, may mga quick questions ka lang na kailangan i-check every time you use a pronoun. You have to ask yourself, what is the point of view? Tama ba yung point of view na ginagamit ko dito sa sentence na ito? Ano ba yung case? Siya ba ay subject, object, o possessive? Okay? You also have to ask yourself kung plural ba siya o singular. And sa cases ng third person point of view, na meron tayong gender pronoun, male or female ba? Okay? Now, for a lot of Filipinos who are still studying English, ako rin, hindi ako immune to that. Merong mga cases na napagpapaliktad yung he at saka she, no? Kasi nga, again, sa Filipino, wala namang gender yung pronoun natin. Eh. Yung siya, wala yung gender kung babae o lalaki. Pero sa English kasi, very particular sila about that. So, we have to really ask ourselves these 4 questions. Kasi, dapat maging malinaw pa rin or nag-a-agree pa rin yung pronoun dun sa antecedent or pinatutungkulan niya or pinalitan niya. Okay? Now, a quick note here would be to think of the word antecedent. Ante kasi means before. So, basically, ibig sabihin niya, whatever comes before the pronoun. Now, paano na siya gagamitin in real life? If we have this, so, nirevise ko ng kaunti yung example natin from an earlier video, dinagdagan ko rin. How do we decide on the pronouns to use? Now, this statement right here says, are you Gina's friend? It's a question. So, tinatanong yung kausap, right? So, ibig sabihin, kung sino man yung kausap ko, siya mismo ang kausap ko. Pero, itong blanco na ito, sino ang pinatutungkulan niya? Sino ang antecedent ng pronoun na ito? So, tinanong kita, are you Gina's friend? Is blank here? Okay? So, it has to be someone that came before. In this case, that could be Gina. Okay? Is she here? Bakit? Kasi, again, yun yung pinatutungkulan niya. Yun yung pinalitan. Are you Gina's friend? Is she here? Okay? Now, next. Have you met Ron? Oh, this time, it's Ron we're talking about. Tapos, yung next sentence sabi, blank family owns this estate. Okay? So, si Ron, siya yung pinatutungkulan, yung pamilya niya may-ari ng estate na ito. So, kung si Ron ang ating antecedent, siya ay lalaki, okay? At ang pinag-uusapan ay ang kanyang family. So, ibig sabihin nun, possessive, male, singular. So, his family owns this estate. Okay? Next, this house is blank. Now, itong blank na ito, kanino kaya yan? Now, sino ba ang may-ari ng estate? Ang may-ari ay yung family ni Ron. Okay? So, yung buong pamilya na yon. So, the answer would be, this house is theirs. Theirs ha, hindi there. Kasi again, we only use there kung may kasunod siya na noun na pinatutungkulan niya. Or yung bagay na pagmamayari. Pero hindi eh. So, ibig sabihin, dapat theirs. This house is theirs. Now again, kung ito ay nasa isang printed on a statement, minsan hindi na napapansin. Sa papers, minsan hindi napapansin. Ako rin, kapag hindi ako careful, I make mistakes like this, no? Kaya we really have to talk about it. Now, ito yung kung simple pa lang. Pero it can get a bit tricky. Kailan na siya giging mas confusing? I will give you a few situations that you need to take note of para hindi kayo ma-biktima nito. A few things. Number one, when the antecedents are joined by and, ano yung rule? We have to talk about kung separated sila by or. So kapag neither or neither nor or either or ang statement, is it singular or plural? We're going to talk about group nouns. Kailan siya singular, kailan siya plural, and indefinite pronouns. Kasi yung indefinite pronouns, merong singular, merong plural, merong pwede for both. So how do you decide kung ang pronoun mo should be singular or plural, feminine or masculine? Now, tingnan natin to. If we have an and, okay? It's two or more antecedents joined by and. Ano mangyayari sa kanya? Now, you can think of and as yung plus sign, di ba? Parang dinadagdag natin siya. So, if there are two or more antecedents joined by and, nagiging plural antecedents siya. Let's take an example like this. Sabi, Mary and Martha loved having Jesus in blank house. Now, anong gagamitin natin na pronoun dito? Nakita natin na ang antecedents natin ay Mary, Martha, at sila ay joined by and. So, parang number 1, number 2. So, dalawa na sila. So, it has to be plural. At ito ay kanilang bahay. So, it has to be a possessive pronoun, okay, describing the house. Nakasunod na kasunod. So, what we could use would be their. So, Mary and Martha loved having Jesus in their house. Okay? Again, kasi and yung ginamit. Pag and, nagiging plural siya. Now, paano naman kung or? Now, when two or more antecedents are separated by or nor, yung pronoun follows the antecedent closest to the verb. So, much like yung proximity rule natin sa subject-verb agreement, ganon din yung rule sa pronoun-antecedent agreement natin. Kung sino ang mas malapit, siya ang masusunod. Let's take an example like this. Sabi, first sentence natin, either Mary or Lazarus will welcome the crowd to blank house. Okay? Now, titingnan natin. Sino ang mas malapit? Okay? Na antecedent dun sa ating verb. Now, nakikita natin na una si Mary, sumunod si Lazarus. So, ibig sabihin nun, this has to be a male pronoun or masculine pronoun kasi si Lazarus yung huli. So, this will be his. Either Mary or Lazarus will welcome the crowd to his house. Okay? Now again, kung babalik rin naman natin, kung isi-switch ko yung position nila, kung gagawin natin na either Lazarus or Mary will welcome the crowd to magiging her. Okay? Now, bakit magiging her siya? Kasi nga, this time, si Mary naman ang mas malapit doon sa verb. Okay? So again, depende sa kung sino yung malapit. Proximity rule tayo. Now, paano naman kung ganito? Hindi lang siya about sa masculine or feminine. Neither the brother nor the sisters can turn people away from blank home. Now, tingnan natin kung sino yung nahahati nung nor. Ano yon? Yung brother, tapos yung sisters. Pero sisters is plural. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, ang magiging sagot natin dito would be their home. Now, kung baliktad naman, kung babaliktarin natin, gagawin natin na neither the sisters nor the brother can turn people away from his home. Okay? So, again, ang masusunod ay yung closest or pinakamalapit sa verb. Okay? Now, paano naman kung group nouns? Ano ba yung group nouns? These are nouns like team, staff, company, army, and stuff like that, no? Ang gagawin natin dyan ay depende sa pagkakagamit sa kanya. Group nouns which function as a single unit are considered as a singular antecedent. Ibig sabihin, singular din ang pronoun niya. Now, kailan siya nagpa-function as a single unit? If pare-pareho sila ng ginagawa. I have a fuller discussion on subject-verb agreement when it comes to group nouns. Ililink ko na lang din dito sa taas for those of you who haven't seen it yet. Ganon din yung consideration natin dyan. Depende sa kung pare-pareho sila ng ginagawa or hindi. Now, there are cases naman like this. Okay? Tingnan natin. The company will have blank daily meeting at 8 p.m. So, yung company is a group noun, right? Ang next question would be, are they doing it together? Or are they doing it as one? Okay? Now, kaninong meeting ba yon, yung daily meeting? Sa company, di ba? And it functions as one lang. Kasi, hindi naman hiwa-hiwalay ng meeting yan eh. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, the company will have its daily meeting at 8 p.m. Okay? It's, kasi yung company is considered as one lang. Now, paano naman kung hindi ganyan yung gamit? Tingnan natin. If group nouns naman refer to individuals within the certain unit, nagiging plural antecedent siya, which will then require a plural pronoun. Now, paano naman yung sentence na ito? Sabi, our staff should have blank personal reports submitted before then. Now, yung personal reports, ito ba ay ginagawa ng isang staff lang or individual members ng staff? Siyempre, personal report so hiwa-hiwalay sila niyan. So, it's separate tasks. So, we could say that the staff should have their personal reports submitted before them. Bakit? Kasi, yung staff, hiwa-hiwalay sila eh. Okay? If separate sila ng ginagawa, separate sila ng requirements, then it has to be plural. Okay? So, yun yung tricky part ng group nouns. Again, kapag they are as one, singular siya. Kapag separate sila or iba-iba sila ng ginagawa or iba-iba sila ng requirement, dapat plural. Okay? Now, let's look at indefinite pronouns naman. Indefinite pronouns can be very tricky kasi merong always singular na indefinite pronouns. For example, if we have a sentence like this, sabi, each of the students in the class can submit blank paper through the professor's mailbox. Di ba, medyo convoluted na yung sentence, ang dami-daming sinabi. Anong gagamitin natin? Is it singular or plural? Now, titingnan natin yung listahan ng mga clues for indefinite pronouns. Okay? So again, these words, I suggest that you just look through them, be familiar with them. Tapos ito yung mga keywords natin kung magiging singular ba yung ating pronoun. Now, if you see, yung each right here is here, okay? Which means this has to be singular. So, dahil singular siya, ang sagot natin would be his or her paper. through the professor's mailbox. Okay, so each of the students in the class can submit his or her paper through the professor's mailbox. Hindi pwedeng each of the students in the class can submit their paper. Okay? But a lot of people, again, make that mistake. So study them, be familiar with them. If you see there's a trend here, nung anybody, anyone, anything, somebody, someone, something, at saka everybody, everyone, everything. Tsaka nobody, no one, nothing. So, yon pa lang, pwede nyo na siyang gawing memory aid. Idagdag nyo lang yung each, one, either, neither, tsaka other. Okay? Now, paano naman yung ibang mga clue words natin? There are cases naman na they are always plural. Pag always plural, ibig sabihin, pag nakita nyo yung mga words na yon, i-treat mo siya as a plural antecedent. Now, in this sentence right here, sabi, several students still submitted blank papers after the deadline. Tingnan natin yung mga clue words natin. We have both, few, many, several, and others. In here, sabi several several students. At dahil nandito siya, i-treat natin siya as plural. So, the answer here should be their papers after the deadline. Okay? So, several students still submitted their papers after the deadline. Now, paano naman kung singular or plural siya? Because there are some na ganon. For example, we have a sentence like this. Sabi, all the students were given enough time to complete blank requirements. Or, most of the time passed without anyone making good use of blank. Ano ngayon ang gagamitin natin diyang pronoun? Now, itong mga clue natin ay yung all, most, some, any, and none. Now, I have a full discussion kung kailan ginagamit yung all, most, some. If you haven't seen that yet, ililink ko na lang din dito sa taas. Okay? Pero ang importante dito is to break it down into smaller pieces. Now, much like subject-verb agreement, depende yan sa hinahati nila or depende sa pinatutungkulan nila. Sa first sentence, we have all, okay, as our clue, pero it's all of the or all the students. At dahil plural yung students or plural ang hinahati niya, plural din yung ating kukunin na pronoun. So, all the students were given enough time to complete their requirements. Again, kasi students yung pinag-uusapan. So, plural siya, there. Now, yung next, sabi, most of the time. Most of what? Time. Passed without anyone making good use of blank. So, yung time in here can function as one thing. It's just time. So, we could say making good use of it. Most of the time passed without anyone making good use of it. Ano yung it na yan? Yung time. Okay? Ang nakalagay dyan ay most of the hours passed without anyone making good use of. This now becomes them. Kasi yung hours is plural. Okay? So again, these are little things that you can discuss, you can take note of, and you can spot in other places. Again, it's very tricky, it's very sly, medyo nakakalusot din siya here and there, but you have to be very careful. Now, the next question would be, anong gagawin ko with all this information? Now, if you have something like this, which is yung initial nating pinag-usapan, again, most of the people who answered that quick quiz got it wrong, anong mali dito? Now, ang mali dito would be this, kasi nobody yung clue word natin. At dahil nobody yan, this right here, itong pronoun na there, has to be singular. Okay? At dahil singular siya, it has to be his or her. Nobody wants his or her face to be associated with bad news. Hindi there. But again, most people didn't spot that kasi nasasanayan na natin yung mali. So again, be very careful with yung pronoun-antecedent agreement. Now, anong gagawin natin sa real-world scenario? Sa real-world kasi, hindi lang tayo forced na mamili sa fill-in-the-blanks, no? Of course, we write papers. For those of you who are students, what do we do with this? Now, how do we fix it? We have a number of options. If you have a sentence like this, sabi, studies show that if a person spends at least 40 minutes doing light exercise, they can be less prone to heart disease. Now, anong mali dito? At first glance, baka hindi siya pansinin, pero if you think about yung pronoun-antecedent agreement, you would see na ang pinatutungkulan dito is a person. So, this is just one person. If a person spends at least 40 minutes doing light exercise, ano mangyayari sa kanya dun sa isang person na yon? 'Di ba? Now, you see that the pronoun here is they. This is a plural pronoun. So, ibig sabihin, mali ito. Okay. Now, anong gagawin natin ngayon? May nakita tayong mali sa paper natin or sa sinulat ng iba. How do we correct it? Now, option 1 would be to change the pronoun. So, balikan natin yung sentence. Sabi, studies show that if a person spends at least 40 minutes doing light exercise, they can be less prone to heart disease. So, yung antecedent natin na a person, so this is just one person, singular siya dapat, magsistay siya as it is, papalitan natin yung pronoun, yung they. Gagawin natin siya dapat na singular. Now, yung they would be subject pronoun. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, subject pronoun din yung gagamitin natin at singular dapat. So, studies show that if a person spends at least 40 minutes doing light exercise, he or she can be less prone to heart disease. Okay? So, papalitan natin yung pronoun. This is the first option. Now, kung ayaw natin palitan yung pronoun, or in this case kasi medyo mouthful yung he or she, no? Gusto natin i-avoid yan. What you could do would be option number 2, change the antecedent. So, instead of saying, the studies show that if a person spends at least 40 minutes doing light exercise, they can be less prone to heart disease. At gusto natin i-keep yung they. So, hindi natin siya babaguhin. Dahil plural siya, yung antecedent now has to be plural. So, studies show that if people spend at least 40 minutes doing light exercise, they can be less prone to heart disease. Okay? So again, if you want to do it, change the antecedent. Make sure that you change the verb then. Okay? Para mag-agree siya with yung ating binago na word. And then, we use they. Keep it. Okay? Now, kung students yan, we can use students. Okay? We can use employees. Depende na yan doon sa kung ano yung ginagamit or pinatutungkulan doon sa actual sentence. Again, you just have to change the antecedent. So, 2 options. Alright? Now, it's time for your quick quiz. So, it's a pronoun-antecedent agreement quiz. I want to make sure that you understand it. So, hindi lang siya spot the error. I want you to look at each sentence and see kung may mga pronouns na kailangang palitan. Tapos we'll go through it together. Isosolve natin siya na magkakasama. And if you're ready with your pen and paper, your timer starts now. Alright, let's see how you did. Let's start with yung una. Okay, basahin muna natin. Sabi, Hailey and Ashley are dogs, but she have different personalities. Both dogs have their own quirks, likes, and dislikes. Hailey's favorite toy is a stuffed monkey. He can't sleep without them. Whenever I'm away, Hailey would bring it downstairs with him. The family agrees that they will not be complete without Hailey and Ashley. So, tingnan natin isa-isa. Lagyan ko lang ng space. It's the same passage. Now, tingnan natin. Hailey and Ashley are dogs, but she, this is our first pronoun na up for contention, she have different personalities. Now, sabi natin, ang clue natin dyan is the word and. Dito join niya yung dalawang antecedent natin, 1 and 2. So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi siya dapat she. Dapat ito ay maging they. But they have different personalities. Okay, so Hailey and Ashley are dogs, but they have different personalities. Both dogs have her own. Okay, now we see the word here, which is yung both. This is our clue. Sabi natin kapag both, magiging plural siya. So both dogs have their own quirks, likes, and dislikes. Next, Hailey's favorite toy is a stuffed monkey. Wala namang pronoun dyan. We're good with that. Blank, he can sleep without them. Now, tingnan natin yung he. This is a masculine pronoun. But Hailey is a girl. Okay? So, this has to be she. She can't sleep without, ano tong them na to? Tingnan natin. Now, ang them is a plural pronoun. Okay? Pero ano ba yung bagay na hindi siya makakatulog na hindi yun kasama? Yun yung stuffed monkey niya. It's just one thing, right? So, she can't sleep without it. Yung stuffed monkey niya. Okay? So, sa first part, we have they, their, yung he, gagawin natin she, tas yung them, nagiging it siya. Okay? Next, whenever I am away, Hailey would bring its downstairs with him. Okay, so etong it's na to, sinong pinatutungkulan niyan? Yung monkey pa rin, right? Dadalhin niya yung monkey niya. So, hindi siya dapat it's, dapat it. Kasi siya ay yung unggoy, hindi yung pagmamayari ng unggoy. It's kasi is a possessive pronoun. Next, sabi, with him, ito na naman. Him, sino ba tong him na to? Ang him na yan would be Hailey. Babae siya. So, hindi dapat him, dapat her. Whenever I am away, Hailey would bring it downstairs with her. The family agrees that they will not be complete without Hailey and Ashley. Now, may mali ba dito? Now, this is tricky. Medyo up for contention din. Pero let me explain. Yung family kasi can be a group noun. And this time, they all agree. Okay? So, the family agrees. Nakita natin, include din yung ating verb here. Kasi bilang niya, isa lang. Singular eh. So, the family agrees that it, kasi it's now functioning as a single unit, will not be complete without Hailey and Ashley. Now, that is yung sagot natin sa quick quiz. I hope you got everything correctly. If you didn't, that's okay. I'll try to post more exercises sa website, sa Instagram, story natin, and everywhere else. So, if you don't follow me yet, you can follow me at Instagram sa @Lyqa Maravilla. For the quick quiz, we post it sa Instagram story. And if wala doon, we have more throwbacks and updates at Team Lyqa on Instagram. If you're on TikTok naman, you can follow me at Team Lyqa for the math, English, and more educational videos. At sa @Lyqa Maravilla naman for the personal stuff, yung mga vlogs, behind the scenes, motivational videos, tips, and advice. Okay? I'll see you guys online. Alright, I hope you learned something today. If you did, click thumbs up. Make sure that you share this video with your friends lalo na kung exam din sila. Lalo yung salami tayong matutulungan. And as always, if you want to reach out to me directly, get the reviewers that I made, or join the online or live review events, you can go to www.facebook.com/Team Lyqa. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit that bell para hindi nyo mamiss yung mga paparating pa lang ng mga lessons. And as we always say sa channel na to, never stop learning. Adja, kaya niyo yan. I'll see you in the next video and bye for now.